Hello, hello, little rats. Welcome back to another episode of Chatty Rats. I'm your host, Rasheen, and I'm joined by.
Natalia! Hello,
Hi, hi,
hello.
Miss Vargas. How's it
How are
going?
you? Oh my god, good. I have a
Uh,
show tonight, so I'm really excited.
you've been having so many like shows and things.
Girl, I know, and you know what's crazy? When you wish for something and then it happens and you're so tired, I'm like, "Oh." Because
Like I
being
had to
booked
actually
is
do this.
cool. The weeks that I am or, like, the month that I am very booked, I'm always, like, so tired. I'm like, "Woo." She's sleepy, but
I
it's
can
it's
imagine.
always worth it, but it's like, damn.
I actually got to get up. I got to get on my Zoom.
How you been?
I've been good. I just like a little update. I am getting back into dating.
Woo!
She she is out there in the streets. Okay, that was very high pitched. But I did go on a first date and it wasn't that good. But on to the next. I think I have a potential person cooking right now. It's like cooking
Mhm.
up. I think we're probably going to hang out like next week. So we'll keep you guys updated. And I have a better feeling about this one.
Are you guys still chatting in the app? Or are you off the app and texting?
We're off the app. We're off the app.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
that's when things are cooking a little bit more. We're getting close to the boiling water.
Okay, I'm
So
excited. I mean, even if the first date wasn't so good, I mean, you kinda just have to do it until you, like, find someone cool. So, it takes
mhm.
some time for sure. The date before I met my boyfriend, I
Oh yeah,
wanted
I
to
remember the
die.
scooter man.
A
Yeah.
scooter man, and then the day after that was, like, my boyfriend's date, and I even thought about, like, canceling maybe because I was like, "Oh, he's gonna what if it's
I
shitty?" Like, "Oh
remember.
my god, it's Scooter Man 2.0, what if it is?" And obviously it didn't, so I have to keep doing it until something works.
Yeah. This one asked me some unhinged things. He was like, "Are your parents wealthy?" And just like the
Wait, w
way and the tone he said
wait,
it.
what? Oh, that's
The
wild.
way yeah, and he was just giving me projecting vibes like, "Oh, you really like nice things, don't you?" And I was just like, "Yes, I do." And what if I do? Like, who gives a fuck? I don't know. So,
Wait, that's
I just
so weird.
right?
Has that happened to you before? I feel like it has, or am I making it up in my head?
No, yeah, I talked about it on here where someone called me bougie because I said I wanted to hire a mover.
Oh,
Remember?
yes, yes.
Yeah. It's
What's
always the most
happening?
random things the randomest things I'm talking about too, where I'm just like, "Okay."
Yeah, you're like, "I know the outfit's good, but, like, relax."
Yeah. It was funny though. So, that's a little tidbit for you guys
Ugh,
among
trash.
other weird things.
Speaking of
Yeah.
unhinged questions, I did want to ask you a hypothetical question to start
You're just, like,
because
really trying to become besties. You
I
heard me
really
last
am.
episode.
I'm even wearing overalls right now to channel my farmer sheen. I'm out here
Wait, let me
trying
give
really
some
hard.
context to Farmer Sheen because I think the girls don't know. Basically, I've come to the conclusion that my dream life is to become a farmer. Not literally, but I would love to live on like a ranch type of thing and like have my own homestead, grow my own
Mhm.
vegetables and things like that.
Ugh.
So that's why Natalia made that little reference. So you guys can be in loop with the joke.
She literally bought a farm picture frame to
Yeah.
put in her kitchen so she could look at her potential
Farm.
future farm, and I'm like, "I am dead." I feel like I channel Farmer Sheen whenever I cook
I
things
love
from
it.
scratch now because 'cause I've been cooking a lot from scratch, which is a lot of work, but guys, I gotta say it's worth it. So I think about that, I'm like, I feel like I'm giving farmer, like I'm giving girl in the prairie.
You're very trad wife. Do you know
That's
who
me,
Nara is?
baby. I think so. Is it the girl that, like, is kinda sarcastic? Or am
No,
I
no, no.
making it up?
She's like the model girl who's like 22, has 2 kids, and then hasn't one on the way, but she cooks
Oh.
everything from scratch. Like, she'll be like, "My toddlers asked me for French toast today," and she'll, like, literally make the bread from scratch, make the jam from scratch. "My toddlers asked me for cereal today,"
Oh
and then
my
she'll, like,
god.
make the cereal from scratch. Yeah.
Okay, Papa
Yeah, I
Fam
need to send it to
Queen.
you. I need to send her to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll quite get there, but maybe one day. That's hilarious. Okay, so my question, Sheen, is,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Since we are going to go to I'm say sorry. I love our little tangents. Since we're gonna go to the Renaissance Fair and we're gonna be magical AF very soon. If you could pick any magical universe, movie, book,
Ooh.
whatever, for me to put you into for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Okay, what do you think my answer is? Because you said you already think you know my answer.
I mean, I think it's gonna be the Akatar world, but you've read other books that are fantasy that are probably cool universes as well. So that's my theory, but I don't know.
Yeah, I actually it's not ACOTAR.
Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure it would either be Crescent City, the one I'm reading now, so, like, Sarah
Mhm.
J. Maas's other universe, but I think with 100% confidence to lock in my answer, it's gonna be the Throne of Glass series. Like, that universe,
Okay.
Natalia, 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 that universe is just, like, it's everything. Yeah, it's everything. So Akatar is like United Kingdom. And if you look at it, the map looks like that, right? Like the universe of it looks like that, like the different courts. Throne of Glass is like the entire world. It's like a much bigger world.
Mm.
So I would definitely choose that. And I like the characters. I love the characters in that world.
Okay,
I
okay,
love
I love
them. I
that.
love them. Like, they have a piece of my heart. I actually want to get a very personal tattoo. But
I
yeah, it's like a
love that.
small little quote because I have a little tattoo here. It's just like where
Mhm.
my underwear line is. It's like a name of a song. So I want to do it on the other side, but from that book. And it's because I connect so deeply to that book and that universe. And it reminds me of such good things. Yeah,
I
and
love
it's gonna be
that.
like a personal, small thing, so no one has to see it. It's just for me.
Oh my god, I love that so much. Okay, so that would be the world that you live in. Would you be a main character in the book, or would you be like a bestie of, like, the main characters in that book?
Like, am I choosing a character from the
So, I
book?
mean, you're always the main character, but what kind
That's
of
what I was
life
gonna
would
say,
you
you're
lead?
always the main
I guess you're
character
right.
of your own
Maybe
life.
that's a stupid question.
No, I think it's just I mean, in that book, I would not wanna be, like, the main character. She goes through hell. I think I would probably just wanna, like, live in that universe, have some magical powers,
I
and
love that.
live on my farm. You know how in a lot of, like, magical fairy books, there's healers?
Yeah.
I think I would like to be, like, a healer. I don't need to
Okay, I
be,
love that.
like a fairy fighting off, like, wars and things. I think I'd
Yeah.
be okay just being the healer. Because healers also work with, like, a lot of tonics and things like that. I feel like they have, like, a lot of knowledge about, like, plants and different things,
Yeah.
especially in those books.
I love that. You know, I think about that frequently, how, this book or movies that I like, and I think about, like, the main hero, and I'm like, I would never be her. I would never be him."
Right? Yeah.
I'm like, I wanna be like Dumbledore vibes, where, like, I'm advising, I ain't there. I ain't going to battle. I am an advisor. I'm a heal. I am a side. I wanna be a side character and as far as away from battle as possible. I'm good.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, I think I would pick, like, the Harry Potter universe because you do have magic. I love, like, the witchcraft aspect of it, like, how
Mm.
you still have to, like, learn how to do the magic, and I feel like in that world, they're, like, eternal students of the magic, so, like, I
Mhm.
like the idea of, like, always learning how to do magic, and you can tap into different parts of magic, and so I would love, like, to make potions and, like, work with the herbs and then, like, learn how to use my wand properly, and, like, I like that the more that you practice your magic, like, the better that you are, so I would love that. I would love to be in the Harry Potter world because it's very beautiful and gorgeous. But yeah, I would love to like practice the magic and like pop off at Hogwarts.
So would you wanna be, like, a student again type of thing? Like, their age? Because 'Cause they're pretty young.
I mean, yeah, I guess I would start that off that way, but would I be a professor? I think I would be a professor of magic for sure. And I would probably
Ooh,
teach like the herbalism class or how to use all the
that'd
herbs
be
and
very
things like
witchy.
that. Very witchy, yeah. Or that or like I would love like potions too. I think I would give like potion vibes. Like get me away from the fighting classes. Like I have no business in that.
I'm surprised you didn't say ACOTAR.
Ugh, I love Avatar too, but I have to pick one to live in forever and ever, and I also haven't finished the series because I'm the world's
Yeah,
slowest
that's
reader.
true.
So, maybe my answer will change, but for now, my favorite magical world is Harry Potter.
That makes sense. So, a few episodes ago, we talked about New York City versus LA and just like stacking plans. And
Mhm.
basically, if you guys hadn't listened, we were just talking about how because people don't stack plans, so like, let's say I'm going to grab coffee with this person, but I'll see you for dinner. It's made it really hard for us to have like spontaneous hangouts with one another. So it takes this playful, light energy out of friendships and makes it where we have to like schedule things weeks in advance. Then it's like work to see our friends.
Mhm.
And the video that we posted was just me talking about how New York versus LA, like I understand the structures of the city are different, but I've just noticed that people in New York stack plans more easily while people in LA don't. And again, mainly referring to people who live in close proximity. We're not talking about people who live hours apart. And the comments section lost the plot. What I thought was interesting about that is what it speaks to our culture and society more than us taking the comments personally, if that makes sense. It's more just
Yeah.
like this speaks to where we're kind of currently at as a culture. So the themes with the comments were a lot of people complaining about the structure of LA, which yes, fair. I mentioned that. But 2, I think the most common thing was people saying they wanna protect their peace,
Yeah.
but also not having social battery to hang out with more than one person in a day during the weekends.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was really interesting because me and you on the low low, behind the scenes, have been talking a lot about the negative, I guess, consequences of this whole protecting peace culture
Yeah.
and, like, what that's doing to us. So
No, 100%. I think it's just crazy because at least for me, like, it definitely felt like a lot of people were giving us, like, their reasons, I guess, and excuses in the sense as to why they could not hang out and, like, why stacking plants was so difficult. And it's like, okay, like, the point of that video was essentially to be like, it'd be so fun, so fun and flirty
yes.
if we could, because that in turn, when you invest in stacking plants and seeing all the people in your life that you love, you end up having a lot more connection, which in turn makes you
Mhm.
happier because, this country is suffering of like a loneliness epidemic. So we're essentially telling you guys like one solution that you could apply. So I thought it was crazy that like we don't want to change it, or like or people some people don't at least. They're like, no, I like protecting my peace,
Yeah.
which short term, I think that it can feel good to stay home and not invest in those friendships, but especially in the US, you see a lot of older people that are lonely, sad, no one's visiting them. And not just when you're old, but even like people like in their 40s. It does get to that point. So how far are we going to protect our peace up until the point of having no one? 'Cause I feel like we're
Yeah.
definitely, like, overdoing it with the protecting our peace and, like, not wanting to be inconvenienced in any way. Because I
Exactly.
100% resonate with the fact that it is inconvenient. Yes, I hate
Yes.
driving 20 minutes this way, 30 minutes that way, and then back down, like, another 4 like, I've done it, and believe me, I'm tired, but it's, like, always worth it? And you can speak to this as well because 'cause you're pretty introverted. I'm extroverted, so I'm crazy, so I can understand that, but Sheen, like, you are on the opposite end of the spectrum as well, right?
Yeah. Like, I relate to the whole social battery comments because I feel that. When I hang out with someone, like, I do feel like, wow, that was a lot of energy. I do need to recoup. But the thing is, every single time I didn't want to put the effort mentally and I didn't want to go out, but I just pushed myself to do it, the pros 100% outweigh the cons. Like, once I'm there, the social battery just flows. Even if I feel super tired, it kind of goes away. And I just feel like we benefit so much from making effort and compromising, maybe like a bit of our energy or just like making those little sacrifices, but building stronger connections. It's so freaking important. And you were right because you were like, it seems like people are just making excuses. And I think that was the interesting thing about the comment section is people are projecting from their perspective, right? Like, and they're just making all these excuses about the city of LA or how they can't do it. But at the end of the day, it's just excuses. And what matters more to you, like protecting your peace or like building fulfilling relationships, building a more fulfilling life. Because, like you're saying, we have a loneliness and depression epidemic in this country. Like, we are not doing
Yeah.
well. The rates of depression are going up like crazy. Something has to change, especially post COVID world. I think things have kind of gotten worse. People have gotten used to being alone and doing things
Yeah.
alone. So it goes back to like friendships and social connections aren't always going to be like 100% pleasure.
Yeah.
There is going to be some tough parts about it, as in, like, okay, yeah, maybe I have to drive 30 minutes, but I want to invest in this thing. And I think it goes
Yeah.
back to that perspective of, well, if I'm not getting 100% like what I want out of it, then it's not worth it. And I should just then sit home and protect my peace.
Which is just so, I don't know, it speaks to our individualistic society, I guess. We think about us only and we don't think about like sometimes our actions have consequences. And I think the consequence long term is that we are lonely. Like you don't have those strong
Mhm.
connections. If you think that you're only going to ask for your friends when things are tough or like you really need them, then you got to think twice because it's important that people are there for you in the tough moments, but that implies that you've invested in all the good ones as well and creating memories
Mhm.
together so that you have that connection. And when you compare like LA and New York, but I'll take it to an even bigger perspective. Latin America or Europe, as people love to talk about, when it comes to why are they happier as a society, they'll say like, oh, they have a great work-life balance, blah, 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 blah. But people aren't talking about like how do they achieve this work-life balance. Yes, of course, they have a shorter work week or shorter work hours and things like that. Fine. But they're also investing a lot of hours out of their day after work or on the weekends to see their friends. You see people out at the bar until 3 a.m. You see people like walking around all over the place, taking trains left and right to see friends. When I visit those places, I see people out and about all the time, and it's because they put in the effort, you know?
Mhm.
They could also
Yeah.
stay home as well, but that effort is what's gonna give you that thing that you crave, which is essentially like connection. And listen, if you don't wanna do it, hey, we ain't telling you how to live your life. Live your life how you want it. If you're someone that protecting your peace is who you are, fine, live that life. But if something is missing, then you have to also look inward as well.
Yeah.
And be
If you
like, "Is
feel
this
like you don't.
authentic to me? Or is it just trendy to protect my peace?" Because I feel like sometimes people do it for an aesthetic. If it's you, then maybe it's you. Then, like, you're gonna have a fulfilling life, but if it is not you, you gotta think about it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, we are literally like tribal and social creatures. Like, humans cannot survive without one another. So I don't know if like deep down we're meant to like live this solo life. Like,
Yeah,
according to our DNA and the way that we've just evolved. But it
yeah,
was interesting because it I saw a TikTok that I sent to you that reminded me of all of this, because she was talking about how we should be able to ask our friends for favors. Like, we should be able to be like, "Hey, can you pick me up from the airport?" And the way that this whole protecting peace culture has gotten is it's almost made relationships feel transactional and feel like friends can't ask for one another things because we can just outsource those things. But it's like true friendship sometimes does come of, I want to do things for you even if it's not 100% benefiting me. It's like me doing
yeah.
that favor for you is part of our friendship and like part of the joy of being friends, which I thought was really interesting because it's something that I feel like I've noticed as well. And like to me, like the greatest honor would be a friend being like, "Can you take me to the airport? Or can you pick me up?" I don't know. I personally would be like, "Fuck yes." Like, I would love to do that. I'm honored
Yeah.
that you would want to call on me. And I think most people would feel that way. I don't wanna speak for most people, but it's just like we've really lost that part of friendship where it's like, if it's not 100% benefiting me, then I'm not gonna, like, do it for you. I don't know. Or even
No,
ask for it.
yeah. I agree, and I gave you an example before we recorded. Like, I was taking care of my friend's cat, he takes care of mine. but it's, like, nice to do favors for someone because it does build connection oddly enough, right? Like, when I take care of my friend's
Mhm.
cats, I send her pictures, she feels good, like, she's happy her cat is being taken care of, I'm showing a cat she loves love, like, that is, like, an extra layer of love, that actually
Mhm.
further magnifies your connection to that friend that you're doing a favor for. And if you think
Yeah.
about it, from, like, a biology perspective, that is how animal kingdom how it operates, right? Like, you scratch my back, I
Yeah.
scratch yours.
Yeah,
But, like, think
monkeys
yeah,
literally chimpanzees
yes.
literally do that, like, their way of showing love is grooming one another.
Yeah, they just do it willingly, right? They just, like, start eating the bugs from, like, the body, and then there's no
I mean,
guarantee that the other monkey will do it back, but, you know?
they do, but I also know that if they wanna ostracize someone, they stop grooming them. But that happens. No, really, and they can get, like, diseases. Okay, I'm going off on a side tangent, though, with that information.
Wait, they can't
But
get
yes.
diseases?
Well, yeah, so the grooming is actually a very important part of the chimpanzee's health, because if they don't get groomed, then there could be, like, parasites and diseases and
Oh, yeah.
different things growing on them, and so they can get sick. So if they wanna ostracize a chimpanzee, basically no one will groom it. Chimpanzees do have a hierarchy, so that's why, like, alphas will get groomed by multiple chimpanzees, and, like, a way for alphas to show you respect is them grooming you back. That's, like, them, like, basically being like, "Yeah, I fuck with you."
No, I'm
So
dead. How petty. We're not grooming Sasha anymore, like, F Sasha. Like
yeah, and then no one will touch Sasha because they're like, "Oh, I can't go there, like, if I touch Sasha, Imma also be, like, in the trenches with Sasha." It's like,
Sasha
"Yeah,
gives me the
dude."
ick. I can't. That's oh, wait, I am
Yeah.
dead. Dude, that's crazy. But actually proves your point that, like, doing favors is a sign of, like, "Okay, we're connected." You stop doing favors, it's
Yes.
a sign of, like, "Bye-bye, you're not in my network anymore."
Yes,
That's crazy.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so crazy, but I don't know, I that's my love language, like, I love, like, giving little gifts or, like, doing things for
Mhm. Me
people. Uh,
too.
I like to give love and also receive it as well, like, so it's part of, like, my identity, so I don't get how people don't do those things. But yeah, I agree, like, we don't do favors for each other because it's inconvenient, and it goes back down to, like, the selfish culture we've kind of created, right? It's like me, 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 and then if I have time or if I have enough social energy, then I'll come hang out with you. And it doesn't mean that you have to do this all the time, but it's just like here and
Exactly.
there, doing something that's a little uncomfortable could go a long way.
Exactly.
Because I take my mental health days, I chill, like I relax. I have my solo day, but then the next day, then I'll be like, okay, like I have to make an effort, text my friends, see who wants to hang out. It's worth it long term.
Exactly, dude. It was interesting because I was listening to this podcast about romantic relationships, and she was saying one quality that's important is someone who's flexible. And she was saying how, like, in this boundary culture that we have, people have become so rigid and they've, like, set up so many boundaries that make it actually, like, hard for relationships to bloom and progress. And I feel like it's kind of like relates to what we're talking about is people think that they have to like set up all these boundaries to make themselves feel the most comfortable they possibly can. But I think the human experience is moments of joy and moments of discomfort, putting our body through work. Like that's kind of what being human, I think, at least means to me. Could be different for everyone else. I do think living a life is like a life of going through uncomfortable things, growing from it. And it's just crazy that we're like leaning towards a world where we just want to be comfortable all the time. Like doesn't
Y-
matter what it is, we just want to be comfortable. Even if I like lose my friends, don't talk to them for a couple months, don't see them
I'm
for a couple
comfy.
months, at least I'm comfy. And it's like, okay, pop off. Like when you're on your deathbed, you're gonna be like, at least I was comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I don't
I
know.
was comfy. Go to my funeral. No one's there. I protected my peace too hard. Um,
Yeah.
thinking about that, like, being flexible in relationships is super important. Like, Obviously, we're not talking about anything wild, but,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
exactly.
when you live with someone, like, imagine just, like, getting really mad about, like, "Oh my god, he always leaves this drawer open." Like, be
Yeah.
flexible, like, you're living with someone, you have to live within their means, like, you have to meet people in the middle, like, it doesn't have to be, like, your way or the highway. I even think about, like, activities, right? Like, with friends, like, sometimes you're gonna go do an activity that maybe, like, you're not obsessed with, but it means
Yeah.
a lot to your friend, so, like, Imma go,
Yeah,
So Imma go.
exactly.
Which is why sometimes I do appreciate when people come to my shows that don't normally go to, like, comedy shows, because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, like, thank you for getting out of your comfort zone." And, like, I see that and I note it and, like, it means a lot to me,
Mhm.
especially because it's not your vibe or not your thing, So, yeah,
100%.
what's going
Yeah.
on in our world? And then we wonder why we're sad. I am glad that my mind is kind of thinking about these things because for a while, I was definitely, like, getting in that path a little too hard for
Same,
a second,
same. I
and
know.
then I was like, "Wait, why am I crying all the time?"
I think I told you, I was like, I don't know, I think the thing that I've realized is, like, I need momentum in my life, and if I, like, get in this momentum of just not hanging out with anyone, that's what it will be, but if I get in this momentum of, like, okay, like, let me, like, maximize my current relationships and try to, like, hang out with people and hit them up, it kind of flows much easier. And I
Yeah,
think that's what happens in this generation is, like, we protect our peace so hard that, like, that just becomes our, like, status quo, and it's, like, hard to break out of that and get uncomfortable. It's kinda like going back to the gym, like, the initial part is so hard, but once you're, like,
yeah,
in the flow of working out multiple times a week, it's just a given.
yeah, and it's interesting that when it comes to, like, the gym health, we don't bat an eye, but when it comes to, like, feeling discomfort, for example, in the sense of, like, going to the gym, right? We accept that as a fact, but we don't apply the same rules to
Truth.
social interactions. But if it's something about, like, losing weight, then the discourse is accepted of, like, "You gotta work hard, you gotta hustle, if it ain't hard, you
Yeah, that's
ain't gonna
true.
see no change." Like, we subscribe to that so quickly, but when it comes
Yeah.
to building strong, meaningful friendships and relationships, we forget. We're like, "No. No, 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 no. I can do it. I
Like, it's
cannot do
just
it."
supposed to be so easy, and it's like, yeah. I think some relationships are really easy, but a lot of the other ones, like, you really do have to, like, compromise, put in work, make time.
Yeah, you have to invest as well,
Mhm.
money, time, like, all those things, like, I think it's always, like, important, it's always worth it, right? Like, I would say, like,
Truth.
go on that girl's trip. Yes, maybe it'll put you, like, a little bit of money behind, but it's so worth it to build, like, those memories with your friends,
Yeah.
right? You can stay
Mhm.
home if you like, you'll save that money, but what's life really about? What are we working so hard for?
Truth.
People are really what make you happy in the end, so, you know?
I agree. So I think this topic is kind of like a big one for us because it loops into like something else we want to talk about, right? Which is like doing things that are hard and challenging
Mhm.
yourself. So I do think we need to do like a part two and talk about that so we
Yeah,
don't
I agree.
take your guys' an hour of your day. I think we should do that for next week. What do you think?
I think that's perfect. Let's do it because I could talk about this for days. I'm very
Same.
passionate
Like
about it.
stop fucking protecting your peace. Just kidding.
Just stop protecting it so hard. Just ease down a little bit.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, well, we love you so much. We will see you next week. Don't forget to
For part
subscribe,
2.
rate, do all the likes, do all the comments, the nice ones, especially. We love you. See you next week.
Love you, little
Bye.
rats. Bye.